Alright, a little post play commentary. And there's the disposition of the forces with the ball being in the Muslim player's court. Oh, like I said, Muslim player wins, just sitting there. So it's up to the Crusaders to launch their initiative. I don't see any point coming out of those walls. So I'm pretty sure the Crusader player just lay down another card and see what's up. Now the only thing for me is I only got one activation left, and unless they come out of their walls and attack me, I won't be able to use both of these into a battle. One of these are, let me see, I can't even do that, being that they're both have a command rating of 1, so that absolutely does not activate anybody. I can do a vassal move, but that's only with forces, and they can only move number of units equal to this. So, boy, that's bad luck. That is not what I need to happen. Now, with that 1, that means I won't be. What I'm looking at is not even using any of these cards for battles. That total just went down the drain if he passes. I'll use one of these cards to get somebody activated there and bring them on in, but I still need at least a 2 card or 3 card to operate to get a vassal move for those Crusaders, so we'll see what's up. Maybe I might be able to activate Baldwin, it looks like, and maybe bring in a Crusader later before my turn's over. But in turn 1, not too much progress. Turn 1, you'd like to have at least, I'd say at least one of these strongholds, so could be another Quagmire in the works. Quagmire in the desert. Get to know what the Crusaders were up against. We'll call this a video. Alright, we're back, and this part of the game is what the designers intended the game to be. And specifically, I'm talking about. Are we still here? Yeah, hold on. All these cavalry units. And as I showed you earlier on that attrition die roll for the Crusaders, that tactic that the Muslim player can employ. Well, I think it's mostly for the Muslim. I guess the Crusader army could employ it too, but mostly it's for cavalry units and armies made up mostly consisting of cavalry. And what the deal is here is shadowing. Now what the Muslim player is going to do is come out of these strongholds, and this is how the tactic is supposedly supposed to work. What I will do is take all my cavalry units out of each army that are mobile, and I'll block the Crusaders' route. The biggest and best cavalry will be right here. I got out the way my options. He can only move from here to here. So I guess I'll just take all the combined forces if I can, or whatever biggest cavalry unit I can will be right here. Forcing the Crusader to initiate a combat. And this is another thing. It all depends on if you can avoid the battle. And having a good leader will help that. So we'll use old Bogada, or whatever his name is. Kerboga. Yeah. We'll use the old Kerboga with his big rating as the leader of this little attempt. And if he has a successful avoidance. And this is another thing. You want to shadow as soon as these guys move, because the shadowing will be over when his movement's done. But I'll avoid the battle, move over to here, and as he moves down, you can go with him. And as he moves, you shadow, stay 1 away, and on those attrition die rolls, it'll simulate your forces, having a hit and run tactics against them. Now, the only countermeasure to that is that as you move down, the Crusader player, I don't know why this isn't in focus, so we'll get this done real quick, can drop units back as a rear guard and deal with those units, but usually he'll be outnumbered, so you better put down a pretty strong rear guard. Tactics flying. It is still the Muslim player's turn, and I'll show you what that deployment will look like for the avoidance of battle and shadowing tactics. Be back. All right, another thing real quickly about card play is this solo game and everything. We all know that the Christian player don't have no cards to activate anybody. So the Muslim player will be looking over here at the Christian player doing this. Thinking, all right, so we want to get on with that shadowing tactic. So what it comes down to is basically, would the Muslim player come out of the castles right away, knowing that he's only got 2 cards left, and knowing that demobilization season's coming? And I said earlier that there was a spring. I'm not sure. I would think maybe in the desert, the spring would be when you would demobilize, and you would muster in the fall after the harvest. So it's probably when they probably wanted a campaign during the wintertime around here. So let's go ahead and assume that. We have mustering and demobilization issues on the Muslim side, although not knowing that the Christian player can't activate commanders. So do you put them out there anyway? I think you do. I think you put them out there as a threat. Get them in that castle, get some leaders there. You can always, one thing about demobilizing and mustering, like I said earlier, sometimes it's better to demobilize everybody and all your leaders, get them in their force pool when it comes time to mobilize in the spring or in the fall or winter, like we said. You could pretty well put them everywhere. So the spring is sprung, and these Muslim forces got to get home and tend to their fields and their crops. They're telling everybody we'll see you in the fall and the winter after harvest. But before we do that, we might end up going to Alexandretta and waiting the Crusaders out. Be back.